In a previous video, I shared with you that Washington State offers dance sport as a competitive event in its Senior Olympics. And not only is it open to people out of state, it is open to the world. There are international style events, American style events, and best of all, it is dirt cheap. And our friend Azadeh asked, hey, are there affordable competitions for people who are below 50 years old? Okay, so great question, Azadeh. I'm sure a lot of people want to know this. Okay, so my first suggestion, not knowing from what part of the world, everyone is watching from, this is going to vary across the world, even different parts of our country. First of all, ask your teacher, hey, what are my cheapest opportunities for me to compete? And they'll be honest with you. Number two, bad news. If you're doing pro-am, there's no truly way to do it on the cheap. There are less expensive means to go about. For example, selecting closer competitions to home. You might even have some unsanctioned comps closer to home that would probably be cheaper yet. They're not going to make you eligible for those like national scholarships, but those scholarships don't cover diddly squat. You end up spending 100 times as much money as you'll get back in the scholarship just trying to win the scholarship. So I wouldn't worry about that. I would definitely think just what is the cost of this competition, okay? Now, certainly it's easier if you live in kind of a metropolitan area of the world. So loads of comps in driving distance, say if you're in Manhattan, lots of them, it's wonderful. What if you live in the middle of Kansas? Are there even any sanctioned comps in Kansas? Not one that I know of. And unfortunately, those people are at a geographic disadvantage. They are going to have to fly somewhere to compete. Not only do they have to pay their pro if they're pro-am, even if they're amateur, and that does tend to be cheaper, they still have to pay for a flight, for a hotel, for the opportunity cost of missing all that work on the travel days. So certainly closer is better. Number two, as I just mentioned, if you compete amateur, it is always cheaper than competing pro-am. First of all, the entry fees are cheaper. The way it is structured, not the group flights, but if you're doing the, open amateur events, for example, if you were to enter gold standard as an amateur, you would pay one entry fee and get to do 4 dances. Also, as an amateur, there's more likely to be more couples in that category because the couples are kind of condensed into tighter groups. In pro-am, you have a lot less people per category. So often you pay the entry fee, you only get a dance one time. And at best, you're maybe one of 3 couples. Whereas amateur, you tend to have elimination rounds. So for that one entry fee, you get to do a first round, you get to do a quarterfinal, you get to do the semi, you get to do the final, assuming you make those elimination rounds to the next level. So all on the same dime for that one entry fee, okay? So if you have the opportunity to find an amateur partner, I would recommend that. If you love doing pro-am, hey, do pro-am too. I know couples that do that. That's also fine. Unfortunately, most people don't have an amateur partner that they want to dance with or even can dance with. So maybe pro-am is your only option. And hey, you're not alone in that boat. I'm just sharing with you kind of the big picture of what could potentially save you money. There could be no cheap options for you, unfortunately, but hey, if there are, I'm going to share them with you, okay? Also, if you are eligible to compete in a USA Dance comp instead of an NDCA sanctioned comp, USA Dance, it's a national amateur organization, and their comps are largely run by amateur dancers, by volunteers. Okay, they are run in much cheaper facilities. Say they'll just rent out a dance studio. That dance studio is probably giving them a deep discount to rent there. I did when we had USA Dance comps at our studio, just because that was the only comp size floor in town. And Lord knows they're going to spend 100 times as much getting a hotel ballroom, and then they can't afford to run the comp without charging people, $1,000 a piece. So I would definitely take advantage. Again, if you're eligible, ask your pro if that's a possibility for you. Because they do have teacher-student events. It depends on the comp, but guarantee those entry fees are a heck of a lot less. Now, of course, you're not going to have the added production value you will in that NDCA comp. So it's not going to be in a beautiful ballroom. It's very likely not going to have any special effects lighting. Now, for me as a ballroom dancer, as a competitor, I could care less. I would dance in a garage as long as I had a wood floor. I'm just there to dance. But you know what? Some people are what I call more participants, and they want the glamour and the glitz and the beautiful photos they can, share with their friends. And in that case, I would definitely go, you'll have to pay more for that NDCA event. Not the end of the world. I'm just telling you what's out there. Okay, friends? You're probably going to not have the benefit of a widespread judging panel in those USA Dance comps, like a little regional. They'll probably just bring in more local pros. They'll all be certified judges, but I do think there's an element of protecting the competitors from bias when those sanctioned comps they fly in, they spend a lot of money to bring in judges from across the country, or the IADSF events will fly judges in from across the world. And then obviously you pay for that as the competitor with those high entry fees. There's going to be a high fee to get into the ballroom. There's going to be a high fee to enter each event. So in a sense, you kind of get what you pay for. But if you are looking for inexpensive options, they are out there. And ask your teacher what options there might hopefully be for you. So hope that's been helpful. And friends, if you ever have a question, you don't want to take valuable time out of your paid lesson, definitely shoot me a question. I'm happy to answer it here. I don't have a horse in your race. I'm going to give you an honest answer, of what's the truth. And if you don't feel comfortable asking me here publicly in the comments, hey, shoot me a private message on Facebook. I also accept your friend requests there, but definitely say, hey, I know you from your Facebook group or your YouTube group. Otherwise, if you're just a stranger, I'm a little bit afraid that someone's trying to hack my account or something. But if you mention that you're from my group, we're all good. And hope that's been helpful. Happy dancing to you all. I look forward to seeing you first thing tomorrow with another hot ballroom dance topic. Happy dancing, guys. Bye.